They never told you this truth in school. They never warned you when you were young and open and dangerous with possibility. They never sat you down and said, one day, your entire life will be shaped, not by what you want, but by what you believe. Not what you hope, not what you wish, what you believe. Because belief is not a thought you carry lightly. Belief is a command you issue to the universe. Belief is the quiet architect drawing the blueprint of your future in the dark while you sleep. And whether you rise or decay, conquer or collapse, break through or break down, it all answers to that one silent power operating behind your eyes. Right now, in this very moment, you are living inside yesterday's beliefs. Your habits are their children. Your fears are their warnings. Your results are their signatures. Look at your life closely, and you are looking at a mirror of what you've accepted as true about yourself. Not what is actually true, but what you decided was true. And that decision, conscious or not, has been writing your biography one day at a time. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your belief. Every great transformation in history began with an invisible rebellion in the mind of one human being who refused to agree with the limits placed upon them. Before there was light in Edison's laboratory, there was light in his imagination. Before there were assembly lines under Ford's name, there was a vision that dared to offend the logic of his time. Before a mouse became a global symbol of wonder, there was a man named Disney who was told he had no imagination. Before a nation was preserved, there was a frail child named Lincoln who believed that a divided soul, like a divided country, could not stand. They did not become legends because the world believed in them. The world rarely does. They became legends because they believed in a future that did not yet exist and moved their feet as if it already did. And now you stand in the same place they once stood, at the silent intersection between who you are and who you could become. The only difference is this: the world is louder now, faster, more distracting, more convincing in its attempts to tell you exactly why you shouldn't try. It speaks through algorithms and opinions and endless comparison. It whispers that you are behind, that you are late, that you missed your chance. But history has always whispered lies to those who were meant to change it. You are not late. You are early in the second half of your becoming. Belief is not positive thinking. Belief is not motivational noise. Belief is a disciplined decision to see yourself not as the past has defined you, but as the future is demanding you to become. It is the willingness to act in alignment with the person you have not yet met, but already are in spirit. Most people live trapped between desire and doubt. They want greatness with the mouth, but they fear it with the bones. They say they want success, but they negotiate daily with comfort. They dream in color at night and wake up to grayscale excuses in the morning. Their beliefs sabotage their prayers. Their habits cancel their affirmations. And so they wait. They wait for confidence before they act. They wait for clarity before they commit. They wait for guarantees in a universe that only rewards courage. But the truth is unforgiving and simple. Confidence is born from action, not the other way around. Clarity comes from movement, not meditation alone. And guarantees are the luxury of those who never leave the shore. The moment you choose to believe in a bigger future, the old version of you must begin to die. This is the part nobody romanticizes. The death of the small self is not peaceful. It is loud. It feels like loneliness. It feels like doubt. It feels like standing still while the world you once belonged to moves on without you. Growth will exile you from the familiar before it introduces you to the extraordinary. You will outgrow conversations. You will outgrow friends. You will outgrow versions of yourself that once felt permanent. And the pain of that outgrowing will tempt you to shrink back into who you were. Do not, because the cost of staying the same is far greater than the discomfort of becoming. Belief demands alignment. If you say you believe in abundance but think in scarcity, your life will answer the scarcity. If you say you believe in purpose but move in hesitation, the world will mirror your hesitation. If you claim you are meant for more but wake every day treating your life like it is meant for less, you are voting against your own future with every small decision. Your beliefs are always proven right, not because they are always true, but because you live in a way that makes them true. This is why your thoughts matter more than your circumstances. Circumstances are effects. Thought is cause. A mind trained on limitation will find evidence for limitation everywhere. A mind trained on possibility will begin to bend reality toward opportunity. The same storm that drowns one man lifts another in a boat. The difference is not the storm. The difference is perception and preparation. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are becoming is shaped in the quiet seconds when nobody is watching you choose between discipline and delay, between the easier path and the right path, between feeding your future or feeding your fear. Destiny does not visit you in grand moments. It introduces itself in ordinary decisions made with extraordinary conviction. The greatest tragedy of the human condition is not that most people fail. It is that most people never decide who they are willing to become. They drift. They conform. They inherit beliefs they never examined and live lives they never consciously chose. They move from paycheck to paycheck, from weekend to weekend, from distraction to distraction, until one day they wake up older and realize they have run out of tomorrows to trade for comfort. Do not let that be your story. Your future is not found. It is forged. And forging requires heat, pressure, repetition, a willingness to strike the same intention into the metal of your character day after day until the shape of your life begins to change. There is no shortcut around identity, no hack for self-mastery. You become powerful by doing the hard things that weak versions of you avoid. Every morning you wake up with two voices competing for control of your destiny. One whispers of safety. The other calls you toward growth. One says, stay where you are. The other says, step into who you promised yourself you would become. One speaks the language of fear. The other speaks the language of faith. You will always hear both, but you will become the one you obey. Belief without discipline is fantasy. Discipline without belief is torture. But when belief and discipline stand together, they form the engine of inevitability. At that point, success is no longer a question of if. It is only a question of when. You cannot visualize your way out of a life you refuse to act your way into. Vision must touch the ground. Purpose must learn to sweat. Dreaming is only the architecture. Doing is the construction. This is where most people turn back. The early days of purpose feel thankless. The results are invisible. The effort is not rewarded immediately. You work in silence while the world scrolls past your struggle. And it is here, in the valley of delayed reward, that belief is tested. Not by what you say, but by what you are willing to endure without applause. Greatness grows in the dark. Seeds do not crack open under sunlight. They break in the soil. They split under pressure. They suffocate before they rise. And yet, within that violent process is coded a future forest. Your current discomfort is not a punishment. It is a prophecy. The universe does not test you to torment you. It tests you to introduce you to your own strength. Every setback is a negotiation, a conversation between who you are and who you are becoming. Every obstacle asks a single question: will you shrink or will you rise? And the answer is written not in your words, but in your persistence. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is the decision to move forward with fear in the passenger seat, while you keep your hands on the wheel of purpose. Courage is not loud. It does not always feel powerful. Sometimes courage is nothing more than getting up one more time than you are knocked down. And you will be knocked down. There will be seasons when nothing works, when effort seems wasted, when the vision that once burned bright feels dim and fragile, when doubt creeps in wearing the mask of logic. It will tell you that you are tired, that this is unrealistic, that maybe you should settle for less. And it will sound reasonable. Defeat always does. But hear this clearly. The voice that tells you to quit does not speak the language of destiny. It speaks the language of comfort. And comfort has never built an extraordinary life. Your belief will be attacked most fiercely when you are closest to becoming something new. Because the old identity knows it is losing its grip. The day you truly decide to change is the day resistance intensifies. Your environment will test you. Your habits will resist you. Even people who love you may not recognize you anymore and try to pull you back into the version of you they understand. Do not confuse their discomfort with your failure. Often, your growth threatens the expectations others placed on you because it exposes the limits they accepted for themselves. You are allowed to evolve without permission. Your past does not require your loyalty. Your future requires your commitment. And commitment is not proven in bursts of intensity. It is proven in consistency when nothing feels inspiring, when motivation disappears, when discipline must carry the weight of your vision on its back. This is where character is forged, not in emotional highs, but in stubborn repetition. Day after day, choice after choice, thought after thought. This is how you rewire a life. You replace the language of limitation with the language of intention. You stop saying, "I can't," and start asking, "How can I?" You stop seeing failure as a verdict and start seeing it as feedback. You stop measuring your worth by your current position and begin measuring it by your direction. Direction is everything. A slow step forward still beats standing still with style. Progress is not loud. It is loyal. Loyal to the vision even when the mirror has not caught up to the dream. Loyal to the future even when the present feels heavy. Loyal to the promise you made to yourself on the days you were sick of being ordinary. Gratitude becomes your anchor in the storm. Not because everything is perfect, but because you refuse to let imperfection poison your ability to move. Gratitude is not passive acceptance. It is active power. It keeps the heart open while the hands remain determined. It reminds you how far you've come, so you do not abandon how far you still intend to go. Adaptability becomes your armor. You bend without breaking. You learn without ego. You release what no longer serves your evolution. The rigid cannot rise. They only crack. The flexible survive long enough to succeed. And learning becomes your lifelong weapon. The moment you decide you already know enough is the moment growth stops. The world is moving too fast for stale minds. You must study. You must listen. You must observe. Every failure teaches. Every conversation hints at insight. Every discipline you master increases the radius of your power. Ignorance is expensive. Knowledge is compounding. And slowly, so slowly you almost doubt it is happening, you begin to change. Your reflexes change. Your standards change. The way you speak about yourself changes. The way you choose your time changes. The way you tolerate nonsense changes. You become less available for distraction and more